Well, today we're talking about mental health and your kids that may struggle with severe anxiety, which can lead to drug and alcohol abuse. Joining me now is Dr. Rachel Dosical, the CEO of the Hanley Foundation. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being with us. You know, the Hanley Foundation does so much in our community, so I think it's important we talk about this. Back to school, just around the corner. Sure. Okay, mental health in our kids. It's a hard topic. Some generations just aren't to the point, I feel like, of really talking about those things, but we're on the cusp of kind of breaking through that barrier. What do you want parents to know? How do we talk about it?
Well, first of all, back to school is such an exciting time of year, but comes with the things like anxiety, embarrassment, maybe even peer pressure.
Sure.
What we want as parents is we want to let our kids know these are very natural, very normal emotions to feel. But how they cope with those emotions, that's what's important, and we as parents can help them do that.
I always find that telling my kids, I remember being nervous too, putting yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
What are some warning signs, you know, when you talk more about the older kids, the teens, when it comes to maybe knowing the difference between kind of typical teen behavior and when they might be struggling?
Sure. All parents know their kids. We know if our kid sleeps in late, for example, if they have a messy room or a clean room. What we want to do is we want to look for our kids doing things that are outside of what's normal for them. So if this is a kid who wakes up first thing in the morning and suddenly they're sleeping in, that's a warning sign. If this is a neatnik and suddenly their room is really, really messy, that's a warning sign. If the kids that they've hung out with since kindergarten, now they're not seeing those kids, but they're hanging out with a new group and they don't want to introduce you to them, it's a warning sign.
Okay, so as parents, you know, saying the one wrong thing, it can turn them off completely. So how do we start that conversation?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. The first thing our parents should know is there is nothing wrong to say except you don't want to berate your kid. You don't want to give them the third degree. That puts up those defenses. But just start talking. With my daughters, I would always start with, I love you more than air, and you're not in trouble. I just want to talk to you about something. And then start with open-ended questions. Ask them, I know you had a geometry test today. How did that go? What was the hardest question? Just start talking whenever you can about whatever you can.
And talk about what you guys have, the resources at the Hanley Center that people can take advantage of.
Sure. We are the largest provider of evidence-based youth prevention in the state of Florida. What we do is we talk to parents, caregivers, as well as kids about coping skills. And really, that's what all of this is about. How do I cope with that peer pressure? How do I cope with that embarrassment? Can I give parents just one tip? Okay.
I'm listening.
I always told my kids, let's set up a code word. And our word was a migraine. So I knew if my daughter called and said, Mom, I have a migraine, we were to drop everything and go wherever she was and pick her up. Didn't matter the situation, didn't matter the time of day. We knew we had to keep our daughter safe, and we would use that code word to make sure we knew go there now.
So when do you implement a code word like that? I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. So when do you talk about those kinds of things?
Start talking now. Start talking over the dinner table. And maybe what you want to say is, did anybody do anything weird or funny in class? Tell me about that. Just get them talking. You know, when they start to go for sleepovers and things like that, that's when the code word really comes into play.
We play Thorn and Rose. Best part of your day, worst part of your day.
Perfect.
Yeah, something
perfect.
good. Really
just
quick,
get talking.
I want to squeeze this question in.
Sure.
If a parent does learn that their child may be using alcohol, drugs, marijuana, something, what do they need to do first? What's the first thing they do?
First thing that they're going to do is they're going to keep their child safe. So if your child comes in and you see red eyes, or maybe they're stumbling around, or their words are slurring, you know, you may want to call 911, or you may want to go to the hospital. Do not think it is an overreaction. Get your child safe first. And then the second thing is you want to start talking and be direct. Just don't berate, do not cross-examine. Let me ask you, last night you didn't seem like yourself. Is there something that you were on? It's okay, you're not in trouble. I just want to keep you safe and healthy. Let's talk about that. And then you may need an outside resource like a counselor. If you need a resource and you don't know where to go, call Hanley. We'll help.
I think a lot of people worry to tell someone else. They're embarrassed, or they're worried that no one else is in the same boat. But there's resources out there for a reason. So there are people who can help you. Thank you. Really good information.
Thanks for having
Just start
us.
implementing the code word. I really like that one. Thank you so much for being here. If you want more information, we have a link on our website. The Hanley website has so much on there. If you want to take a look, the website just has a lot of really good resources. Thank you both.
Thanks so much.
Nikki?
You know, I'm 32 and I still have a code word with my mom. Well, taking a look at the rainfall expected for today, not going to be seeing too much, just a couple hundreds along the coastline. Inland, we'll have about 1/10 of an inch of accumulation, but we do have some better rainfall chances on the way, predominantly as we head into Sunday and into the upcoming work week. And so over the next 7 days, we'll see 2-3 inches of some much needed rainfall as we still have drought lingering